Some people might say I was an up-and-coming talent, and I believe that too, but I wasn't successful by any means. I hadn't accomplished anything. I wasn't brought over because I was this guy who was like smashing EU and playing in finals, playing in semifinals. I was in relegation when they picked me up. I came over with the mentality that I'm nobody, and especially filling Reginald's shoes, I really need to prove myself, and I really need to work my ass off. And also just being really young, I didn't have a strong sense of really who I was or what I was expecting around me, so I just kind of came in and was really open-minded and allowed, my teammates at the time, and Reggie, Lena, Dan, Odd One, Darius, Turtle, Expressal, to kind of show me around and be like, this is what California is like, this is what the US is like. And I was young and just kind of enjoying the ride. My name is Bjergsen. I'm the mid laner of TSM, and some people know me as Bjergsen. I think it can definitely seem harder to be driven as more of a veteran compared to some of these younger players that come in and they have a lot of passion and they have a lot of love for the game and they're really excited for this opportunity. I think the drive that a more veteran player like myself has is more about these incremental improvements that we are making every year to continue to stay on top and to try to always be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. There was a time in my life where I think everyone was kind of idolizing the Korean work ethic and sacrificing sleep and sacrificing pretty much everything to just put in more hours because repetition was what made a player great. I think there's some truth to it. League is a game that you need to play a lot. It's definitely not a game where, yeah, I'll just work 4 hours today and then I'm working smarter than this guy who's playing 10 hours. Like, that's not gonna work. But I think when you're at the point where you're choosing between either playing 10 hours or playing 13 hours and how that affects your mental state, when you choose to do that, to do those couple solo queue games every night instead of resting, working out, or having, spending time with a friend or something like that, you don't really know the effects of it until you kind of hit rock bottom or you realize that you really have nothing else in the game keeping you afloat. In the beginning of 2018, I kind of made this promise to myself that I'm going to try just putting everything else aside and just play as many games as possible every single day and see if that's really what I'm missing or if that could take me to the next level. Obviously, in 2018 string, we didn't have a lot of success.
TSM routed the game over! And that is the end of this series and the end of TSM's perfect record of attending the playoff finals. History in the making on the stage here today.
Every scrim and every match mattered so much to me because it was the only thing I had, and I think that kind of led me to putting an excessive amount of pressure on myself and just made me play worse. I think as a younger player, with everything I did in life, if I ever went to the gym or hung out with a friend, I always had this mindset of, oh, that was 2 solo queue games that I lost. Was this dinner with a friend equal to the 2 games of solo queue that I would have practiced? And I think that doesn't really lead to longevity of a career. After my experiment in 2018 of just grinding as many games every day as I could, I kind of just came to the conclusion that if I want to continue to be a pro for more years, it needs to be more sustainable and I need to actually enjoy the journey. When I first moved here, I knew a lot of people because I was Bjergsen. I could say I knew a lot of people, but I didn't feel truly close to a lot of people. When you're constantly being told by people that you're great and you're amazing and they wish they were you or they just wish they could meet you, even though consciously you're not going to let it get to your head, I think subconsciously over time it just will, and you will think higher of yourself. And that was part of why I kind of took some time to disconnect from that and spend time with people around me that know me for me. I enjoy the separation between kind of who I am and who Bjergsen is, and I feel like a lot of people feel like they know Bjergsen really well, but they don't know me that well, and I kind of enjoy that distinction and that separation. I had a lot of ideas going into 2019 about what I personally needed to do, but I think with all the changes that we made in coaching staff and players and all these things, I didn't really do those things that I promised myself that I would do, or I didn't feel like they were perhaps as necessary as I felt in the offseason. And then towards the end of the year, of this year, I realized I made a very similar mistake.
Bjergsen's gonna fall. The rest of his team is gone. Team Liquid tie the record. It's 3 LCS titles in a row.
Obviously, that feels really bad that you need to kind of fail multiple times to really take something and change it.
We've now seen the coach change out. You know, Reggie isn't there full time. The roster has pretty much been completely overhauled. Who is the constant? It's Bjergsen, right? So if it's never worked with TSM, it's got to be Bjergsen, right? And I think that is the perspective that people are looking at it from. Not that I'm saying I agree. You know, you also have to look at the other side of it, which is who was there for all of their success? Bjergsen. Yeah. Who won the MVP a bunch of times? Bjergsen. TSM's identity has been winning for so long. And Bjergsen has been so closely tied to TSM that for many, many years, I never thought he would ever leave TSM. He'd be there, you know, until the end of his career. Do you guys see that loyalty starting to wane? You know, does he consider leaving?
Of course, I thought about leaving, and I thought about what other options that I had. TSM had put another offer on the table or put another contract on the table, and I pretty much told Reggie that I don't want to sign this before I talk to you, and that we really figure out what's going to be different.
We just sat down for 3-4 hours over lunch, and we kind of just laid out all the things and issues that we had, and you know, we came up with a plan in terms of how we wanted to tackle it, right? And it includes more of my time being involved. It includes Bjergsen stepping up as a leader. We felt like we did a lot last year, but it wasn't effective, and you know, like, a big part of it was just my mismanagement, parts mismanagement, and our overall coaching staff not taking accountability.
We came to really similar conclusions, which kind of solidified me staying, because if I thought these are the problems, he thinks these are the problems, and we can work to fix them, why would I leave now? TSM has been around for a really long time. We know the recipes to success, but I think that we've given newcomers coaches that have had success, or players that have had success from other teams, we've given them too much control in the team to kind of lead the team in their way. And that just hasn't been working. So we're taking it into our own hands this year. 2020 is really, for this year to be the year where I truly feel like I'm filling into Reggie's shoes, and I am truly leading the team in many aspects, not just the aspects that might come easy to me or come naturally to me. And of course, there's an urgency to get some kind of success, but I don't feel rushed. I think it doesn't really help you to feel like I must succeed this year, or I must do this, or I need to get to the finals, I need to win this finals this spring or else. Because I think a lot of players have that mindset, and that's when they fall from their former glory and they're not able to come back because they just have this is where I need to be, and they put too much pressure on themselves to perform. And I've seen that in myself, and I've seen it in some of my teammates, and I've seen how it can really hold people back. So I don't have regrets over the last 2 years. I think that they were great learning lessons for me, and now is just my time to take them and put them to use.
Bjergsen is pretty much the guy that I always want to stand behind. I'm really proud of him. Seeing his growth as a person, as a player, as a friend. I'm always going to be that friend that's there for him, and I'm going to always support him, whether he's a pro player or pretty much anything that he wants to basically take on in life.
I think having played in NA as long as I have and really spent a lot of my growing up here, being in America and with the support of, obviously, TSM is an American org and the fans, at heart, I do really want to see an NA team truly succeeding internationally and really winning something and accomplishing something. I was happy to see TL go to the finals at MSI. I mean, the selfish part of me wants that to be me. I really want to be the person to bring that kind of glory to NA, and I feel like it's still something I can do, and it's really what I owe to Reggie at this point.
Finally got it, this is my time, you ain't taking it from me now,